Hey, welcome in everybody to this edition of True Philadelphian Sportscast, the Grittiest take. We are here tonight with a special guest, Steel Flyers. I am, of course, Joe, and my co-host Andrew is here, but we're going to let Steel tell us a little bit about himself. So how you doing tonight? And let's hear a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you guys very much for having me on here. I feel very honored and privileged to be here with both of you guys. I've listened to you guys and I look up to what you guys are doing. So great being here, and I feel very honored and privileged. Steel Flyers. You can see me on Twitter at Steel Flyers, and stay tuned for a website coming out soon, steelflyers.com. So, and look for some podcasts coming out real soon too. So, thank you very much, guys, for having me. Feel very honored and privileged.
You're very welcome, man. You're very welcome. It's an honor to have you. We love you're actually, I believe, our first guest on, other than Shane, who's with our other podcast. We don't normally have guests on ours, so it's an honor to have you on and have a guest on as well.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. And then Andrew, of course, I'll turn it over to you. And how you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well. Another good day in Oklahoma. Still hot here, about 100 degrees again. I just got done third summer class, so one left to go. So very positive mood today. What about how you doing, Joe?
Well, thanks for asking. Yeah, we don't always really post how they're doing. But yeah, I'm doing well. The day's been going well. We of course had a great baseball podcast with the Chasing the Pennant crew that everyone should also check out. Before this, so that was really fun. So yeah, today's been very positive for me, with sports looking like they're moving in the right direction. And on that positive note, Oscar Lindblom returned to the Flyers skate zone, and Chuck Fletcher had this very great statement to say on him. He said he looked really good on the ice. His hands are still there. It's remarkable to think that with all the treatments that he has been able to go out there and still show the skill and still have the stamina to skate for 35 to 45 minutes, which really is remarkable. Like all the treatments he went out there. If you watch that video, he was ripping slap shots, he was ripping wristers, and he looked like he said himself, he had to make up for some time, but he didn't look like he was missing that much of a beat for going through that painful of treatment that we're so blessed that he's almost at the end of.
He was up on his skates.
What'd you say?
I said he was up on his skates too, man. You could see him. He was up on his skates. You know, you can tell when when they're really going at it, they're up on their skates. You know, they're standing a little taller in their skates, and they skate a little. They have a little bit of a different stride. And he was up in his skates when he was making those slap shots. So that was great to see that, man. That's great to see.
Yeah, and he said he's only been on the ice, I believe it was a total of 4 or so times with his treatments. It's not like he's really been on the ice, and to come in and really show, like you said, have his legs under him and everything right away, that really shows how dedicated he is. And seeing that bright smile, for anybody that watches baseball, that reminded me of like Francisco Lindor when he plays baseball. Seeing that bright smile just brings such a joy to your face, that the fact that he's able to practice with the team and almost be on his way back for next season, of course, not this postseason. And then, Andrew, I don't know if you had any comment on Oscar.
Yeah, like you guys said, it's a tremendous thing to see him doing that. Very special. I had to feel like a very special moment for him to kind of get back there. Something probably he wasn't expecting for a very long time. Very unfortunate to see anyone go through that, but credit to him for battling through it and getting back out there already. I mean, I was surprised to see him out that fast and being able to skate with the team. And like you said, obviously it's not going to be for this season, but hopefully it gets him back. And I mean, see what he can do next year. But congratulations to him to getting this far and getting past everything so far. And just hope it continues to go well for him.
Completely agree. Completely second everything you said. It seems like he's moving on a great track. He's a great skilled player that, of course, already became a fan favorite. We're going to love to have him here for years to come when we eventually lock him up.
I mean, if he was on the team right now, if he was coming back to play right now, that would be a game changer.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree.
Yeah. So if he was coming back for this year, that would be a game changer. But yeah, man, it's great to see him on the ice, and we'll see him back next year, good and strong.
Yeah, he was our best scorer when he was our most consistent guy when he got it.
Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah. So I mean, he's definitely going to be a guy. If he came back this playoffs, every team would be like, "Oh, sweet Jesus." And then
I mean,
if
he had what, 12
and
goals
then
in
if they
20
heard
games or something? Come on.
and then if they heard Patrick was also coming back, then teams would really be like, "Oh, just stop."
Yeah, because that would be
Just
a
stop.
game changer too.
Like we had a team that did so great with the way AV coached, and then if you were to add those two, and obviously Lindblom's not going to be able to come back. Patrick, we are not sure of yet. So that'll be a real game changer if he can come back too as well, Nolan, because Nolan's obviously a difference making player.
Like I said, with those two guys back, those would be game changers. Even if just one of them, if it was Nolan Patrick or if it was just Lindblom, that would be a game changer right there, because that gives us an extra guy down the center, okay, who can score, who can take faceoffs, who can be on the power play, who can do the penalty killing. You know what I mean? So, what win-win all the way around.
Exactly, and you have another big bruiser, like a guy that can use his body too, similarly to Hayes, and he's from the right side where Hazy's obviously from the left side. So that matches up very well for you in the playoffs to have the deep centers to match up. And Patrick ain't no slouch on the other end of the ice either. It's just that might show some effect. That might show the most effect from being out for a long period of time, but he still will be able to play if he's on the third line, defend any third line center.
Right.
But anyway, we'll move on from talking about those two that we hope Patrick will be able to play, and we wish Oscar all the best as he's entering the later stages of his recovery. But we're transitioning now into our bracket, and we will start with. Do you guys want to start with the first and 16, or do you want me to jump around a little bit?
Let's start with the first and 16 because that should be kind of chalk, and then kind of I guess jump around a little bit and just save the best matchups you think will be closest for last.
Okay. Well, the first and 16 is Johnny LeClaire against Damon Langkow. Obviously, everyone knows how good LeClaire is, so I'll read his stats second. Damon Langkow, who played from the 98 season through the 0001 season with us, had 41 goals, 86 assists for 127 points, and he finished 18th in the Selke in 99 and 2000. So he was a pretty solid player for the Flyers while he was here, but he obviously is nowhere close to John LeClaire, who during his time here scored 333 goals to be in the top 10, 310 assists, 643 points. And he was just a dominating force. He was the guy that, other than 1 year, didn't get banged up compared to Lindros on that Legion of Doom line. He was the guy that never had to deal with the injuries as much as Eric did, where he's the guy that obviously I think would win this matchup for me, but I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I think you got to give it to John LeClaire. I mean, just look at it, six All-Star games to 0. I think it goes without saying, nothing against Lanko for what he did here, because like you said, he did have that one really good year where he came in 18th place for the Selke. But I mean, you just can't beat the Flyers legend LeClaire in this round.
No, you never beat a legend. Go ahead, Steve.
The only thing I can tell you is this: Johnny LeClaire and his 3-point stance in front of the net. That's all you have to say. And Johnny LeClaire's name is on the cup. And there, end of story.
Yeah. No,
when he played for Montreal and he came over with the deal with Eric Desjardins, him and Johnny LeClaire came over. I think they were part of a package deal, and him and Eric Desjardins came over, and they had won the cup. I think it was that 1 year, 93 or 2 or whatever, when Montreal won it.
Yeah, it was 93.
Yeah, there you go. So him and Eric Desjardins were part of that Montreal team, and they were part of that big blockbuster trade that brought Johnny LeClaire to Philadelphia and brought Eric Desjardins to Philadelphia. So can't go wrong with Johnny LeClaire, man. Can't he? That's not even an argument. That's not even like, really? You put him up there with Damon Langkow or Lanku or however you want to say his name?
He had to be the 16th seed, so that was just a default thing. You have the first and 16 is never going to be closed. It was Giroux against Matt Reed in the first round of the bracket.
Okay.
But Desjardins was in our first round of the bracket and advanced past Gostisbehere.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Oh
Um,
man.
but he was a special guy. My dad or my friend's dad always talked about how great he was. My friend Zach's dad, because he really liked him growing up, how special of a player Desjardins is. But we're of course get to that whenever you come back, Steele, and we get on that part of the bracket. Not to dwell on him now, because our next one is on defenseman. Anyway, because I think this is a good matchup, and then I wanted to do this 1 second to see what you guys feel. But I think Provy has to win because of year total. But Steele, I want you to talk about just how good Paul Coffey was during all those years, not with the Flyers, with Edmonton as well, but with the Flyers,
Yeah.
goals, 47 assists, 55 points, while being banged up a lot. So he was
Yeah.
still able to play well while he was in. But Provorov, of course, has 43 goals, 90 assists, and 106 points in only like 4 seasons so far. So, I mean, he's been ridiculous other than he had a couple down defensive years and then 2 great ones, Provy, and his plus minus total. But I think now with AV, you're really going to see him skyrocket. And then, Steele, I'll let you go first this time.
I honestly, I think Provy has got the potential to be probably one of the best defensemen that we've probably ever seen. Not just in Philadelphia, but maybe in the league. And when you can't really, it's almost like you can't compare the two because it's a different game when Paul Coffey was playing. Okay, compared to the way they're playing now, where Paul Coffey's game was okay. I mean, the guy played 1,400 games and scored 396 goals. Okay, but he was a banger, and he was just that guy that could move the puck up, and he was that guy that was always going to be there, always going to be there. You could always depend on Paul Coffey. I am not kidding. This guy was just so awesome, just so defensively sound. Always could count on him to move the puck up the ice. I I agree with you guys. I look. I think Provy's got the best potential, but we only got a 4-year window body of work to look at him. And Paul Coffey has got 1,400, almost 1,500 games, I believe. Isn't he in the Hall of Fame too, Paul Coffey?
I think he
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Also,
he is.
if we're
Yeah.
just going by if you're just going by the Flyers statistics of them, though, since we're ranking all-time great Flyers, you would probably
Yeah.
right.
Well, I'll tell you what, because he only played for 2 years and he was really hurt and he didn't play consistently while he was there. I mean, he was always there, but he played better, in Edmonton or Detroit. He played better. He played better in Chicago. He played better in Pittsburgh and Edmonton. So, I mean, he just wasn't the same player when we got to him.
I agree.
And, and so, because he didn't play a consistent season from the time he was with the Philadelphia Flyers until he retired. He didn't play a full season. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Provorov and he's playing 26, 27, 28 minutes a game. Last year he played all 82 games, didn't miss a single game. Seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna, as much as I'm gonna not like this, I'm gonna go with Provorov just because of the potential, and because of based on what you said, that it's the 4 years that he's played with Philly, and only the 2 years that Paul Coffey played in Philly. He wasn't really the same guy when he played in Philly, so I'll take Provy on that all the way.
Gotcha. And then Andrew, I'm assuming you agree with Provorov.
Yes, I do agree with that. I think it's kind of similar, and I think it's kind of similar to the debate when you look at. I'm going to transition sports here and go to baseball, but it's kind of like Ryan Howard's probably a better Philly than Pete Rose is, but Pete Rose is the better overall player to date. I think it's very similar to that situation. Like you got a Hall of Famer here that is career-wise, yes, he's probably better than Provy. But if since we're going strictly his time and tenure in Philadelphia, I think it's got to be Provy, just because, like you guys mentioned, I mean, his ability to play 82 games in 3 straight seasons, like that's unbelievable. And then he was on track. I forget what our exact record was when they canceled the season this year, but I think it was 69. So he was on track to play all 82 for 4 straight years.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he did have all the games under his belt this year. I do not remember Provorov being out once.
Nope.
But moving on to the next one, this is the matchup I'm just interested because it's a 4 versus a 13. Might be a little bit closer stats-wise than some people think. So I'm interested to see what people think between these two guys. Dan McGillis had 31 goals, 105 assists, and 137 points during his shorter tenure here. And then Braden Coburn had 37 goals, 116 assists, and 161 points, but was obviously one of our anchor defensemen for a long stretch from 06 to 07 through the 14-15 season. So he had a longer longevity than Dan McGillis, but obviously their stats, I think, are closer than some people might think off the top of their head. So I'll let Andrew go first with this one. I don't know who you would pick to go top each other on that one.
Honestly, I think I'm going to go upset here. I think, and it's part of the reason you said it in your opening statement there is if you look at it, like how close their stats are and what they did for the Flyers, when you break that down and Coburn had 3 more years here than McGillis, and McGillis is able to keep it that close. I mean, he's only 5 goals shy of even or being right there with him. Points are almost right there. So I think McGillis' ability to and what he did in those 6 seasons with the Flyers, I think. I mean, especially in years where the Flyers kind of struggled here and there, and he was able to still put up those kind of stats. I mean, I think you got to give it to McGillis over Coburn, in my opinion, just because, again, what he was able to do in the short tenure.
Yeah, they also were obviously a little bit different types of players. Coburn wasn't as, I would say, offensively. Now, I don't know as much because it's more from highlights on McGillis, but as offensively gifted. I think you would probably agree with that, Steele.
Yeah, Danny McGillis was way more offensively gifted than Braden Coburn, but I'm going to go with Danny McGillis for the reasons of this. Braden Coburn, to me, was a turnover machine. And he had a lot of turnovers, and his defensive skill set just made me nervous. Okay. So you could have put,
I actually written down. It's funny you say that because next to Coburn on the bracket or on my notes, I wrote down erratic. But
That's a good word.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I put him as a 4 seed because of his stats. So I figured his stat, but I put him like the most erratic high seed on the bracket by 4.
Yeah, I mean, and even when he got traded to Tampa Bay, I mean, he still was the turnover machine for Tampa Bay too. It was like, okay, like you thought because he has the size, he has that long stick, he has that good stride, and once he gets up and moving, and he gets up on his skates, he's actually pretty decent, and he's yeah, but
he's the guy everyone loves is the lumberjack type dude too. Like if you saw that Tampa video, he's the guy that everyone loves just for his personality too.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Danny McGillis had, I think he had a better game than Braden Coburn, and he was better defensively. So I'm going with Danny McGillis on that one all the way.
All right, no, that's the one that's why I wanted to do that next because I found that one very interesting because I also was going to pick the upset, and I thought that there was a chance that at least 2 out of the 3 of us would pick the upset. I didn't think we would run the table on it, but
hey, it happens. That's the fun of brackets.
Yeah, strange things.
I'll have you guys know this is my first bracket, so I've never done a March Madness bracket or none of that stuff. So this is my first bracket. So there you go.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, you're doing a job explain.
Okay.
But I was going to say for Andrew, I'll do this one next because I know he really likes, well, I don't know how much he likes the other guy, but I know he likes one of the guys in this grouping a lot. Matt Carl, the 5th seed versus the 12th seed, Racco Gudis. Matt Carl in his time here, who was obviously more of an assist guy than goals guy, had 15 goals, 122 assists, and he was also 10th in the Norris in 2010, 2011, excuse me. And then Ratko Gudas had 17 goals to 56 assists. So on those guys, I know, Andrew, I'll give this to you first because I know how much you loved Ratko when he was here. Are you picking an upset on this, or are you still giving it to Matt Corral?
I think, I mean, I like Grittiest and stuff, and I mean, I like his ability, his aggressiveness, and his ability to fight as well. And I like that part of him. And he's willing to step up for what seems like to be pretty much anyone on the team. So I think that is a special aspect of his game. But I don't think there's a way you can pick him over Matt Carl. I think Carl was just too good. I mean, all around from all years in the league, really, and then even his time here with the Flyers. I think again they were kind of two different players in a way, but his ability all around the ice from this defensive side to even his offensive side was a little more impressive than Gudas. So I think the really only thing Gudas had maybe over Carl was the aggressiveness. So overall, I got to stick with Matt Carl.
I agree with that. Yeah, Matt Corral was a facilitator. He knew how to get the puck up the ice. He could get it on anybody's stick, whether it was a saucer pass to a regular pass to banking it off the boards. Similarly to someone else we obviously will get to on the bracket at some point, a Tiemann in. He was just so good at figuring out how to fit pucks into passing windows. But Steele, obviously I feel you'll probably pick Matt Corral too, but who you going with you?
Yeah, I have to tell you, I was a big fan of Radko Gudas. He was a shots block leader. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Shots blocks leader. Yeah. He blocked the most shots for all the years he was here in Philly, and was like second or third in the league for block shots. So Matt Carl was a much smaller guy. He had a much more faster game, much more offensive game. So they were exactly two opposite sides of the defensive stick. Okay. And I would go with Matt Carl because of the offensive side, but I would also go with Gudas because of his snarl, of his shot blocking ability, and his capability to take the odd goal or two. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I agree.
That's a tough call for me right there.
Yeah. For me, it's also when I look at it, sometimes I look at it when I have guys close, guys I've really liked, on if I projected the guy onto this team when he was having his stats while he was here. Imagine having the power play prowess of a Matt Carl on this team.
Oh, man. Oh.
Carl on this team. So once
that's like having another Giroux.
Yeah, once I did that, I was like, yeah, Matt Carl's career track's better than Gudas. They're different, and I like Ratko a lot, but unfortunately, also we got a very good deal for him. Bringing in Niski, who's played. But he's a guy.
That was a steal. I'm sorry, but Fletcher stole him away. I don't care what anybody says. I know Niskanen's older, but I think that was a steal for us.
Yeah, you don't have to pay him yet because you still have him for next year. You know you're going to pay him less if you keep him after that because he's not going to take that high of a cap hit anymore at his age.
But look what he's done for our team.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'll take that upside all day long.
I would too. I think he's a guy that keep tacking on potentially a couple maybe just a 1 year at a time, or to do a 2-year extension and then happens from there after next year.
So we went with was that our upset? We all went with Matty Carl over Braden Coburn.
No, Carl was over and Carl was the higher
over Gudas. Okay, all right.
Yeah, Carl was a points compiler because of his assists and how great he was at that, and also solid on his own end. So I couldn't see Ratko above Matty.
Okay.
But for the next one, this one should be rather painless, I think, for us. I love this player as well. That's the other guy on this list, but there's no chance I'm picking him before Gags. 14, Scott Long versus 3 seed Simone Gagne. Scotty has 44 goals, 62 assists for 106 points in his career, but he also has been playing the best on the defensive end this year under AV with a plus 13 rating, by far the best of his career. And then, of course, Simone Gagne, I just did his first stretch here, not the 27 games he played it later when he came back in 12-13, I believe that was. He had 259 goals, 265 assists, 524 points in his first stretch here, and was obviously one of the best players on the team for a long run there. One of the most entertaining, the guy that I first drew to when I started watching the Flyers. So there's absolutely no chance I'm letting Scott Walden upset Simone Gagne. So I'm picking Simone Gagne.
Oh, so you're a homer then, huh?
I love Scotty too.
Oh yeah.
Six guy. He got so dedicated in 2017. He went back down to work on skating and is now
best thing for him.
One of the best penalty killers on our team and just knows exactly the role he has to have. And he's scoring this year too. He's finally coming to his own. He might be a guy that can get you 15 to 20 when it's all said and done, when he has his full confidence in here and he has a coach like AV behind him. So.
You guys remember Steve Downey?
Yes.
Yes.
Does he remind you of Steve Downey, only with way better offensive upside?
Attributes? Yeah, I would say so, because he's also not as nutty as Steve Downey.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But doesn't he kind of remind, like he almost has that same track, where he came up when he was first coming into the league, and then we found out that you needed to learn a little bit and you had to go back down, and Downey didn't take too well to that. And Scotty Lawton, that was the best thing for him because he rededicated himself. He found his game, and now look at what he's doing. So I'm going to have to agree with you. Gagne, oh man, that's what I call him, or Gags. Great player. Loved watching him play. First saw him play in 2000 when he came out as a rookie, as an 18-year-old, made the team. He made it to the first 9 games, and they were like, that's the rule now, where you can only play 10 games, and then either you're sent back down or you count against the contracts and you count for the team or whatever. So he got to the 9 games, and they're like, yeah, you ain't going nowhere, buddy. You're staying right here. So yeah, Simone Gagne all the way on that one.
Yeah. I'll turn it over to you, Andrew. But like I said, he was my most beloved player when I first attached to watching the team. Also, we'll have to start going on camera for our episodes eventually, like you said, Andrew, because then I'll show my bobblehead I have of him over there. But anyway, what's your take on Simone Gagne?
Yeah, it's got to be Simone Gagne here. I mean, just one stat that sticks out to me in 11 years here with the Philadelphia Flyers, his plus minus was 140. Like a positive 140 plus minus is just incredible. I know it says a lot about the team as well, but I mean, as a player, I mean, it just shows what he does for the organization, what he's able to do to help not only elevate his own game, but elevate the players around him as well. And I think that's one of the big things here. And nothing against Scott, but like, again, great attitude, great way to figure everything out. I just think with Simone Gagne here, his ability to elevate his teammates, elevate his team as a whole to get to that next level. I know, unfortunately, we were never able to actually hoist that Stanley Cup in Philadelphia, but again, he gave the team a chance every year to kind of get there and make a run.
Mm-hmm. And the one run, him and Carter basically played on broken feet.
Yeah.
Simone Gagne basically played through the whole playoffs, played perfectly fine. Yeah. Not as he normally does, but still played perfectly fine on a freaking broken foot. So.
Yeah. Got to give it up to that guy, man. I mean, plus he was here for when Giroux first got here too.
Which helped immensely.
Yeah, oh my gosh, man. I don't care what anybody says. Jágr was the ultimate flyer killer, but he was the best thing for Giroux. Mm-hmm. Because oh my gosh, did he light up with Giroux? Oh my gosh, the way those two guys just skated together, him and Danny Briere. Woo! Oh boy, that was scary.
Yeah, I was one of the people that was touting to give him another 1-year deal, Jágr, because of how well he played with Giroux, and then we kind of just let him moved on. But obviously, it's worked out over time. But Jágr did have a good year after that, so he could have really helped us still. But that's ancient history now at this point. So we'll move on now because this is obviously not a defenseman versus a defenseman, because I wanted to switch it up and confuse people a little bit. So our 7 seed is Chris Pronger versus our 10 seed, Donald Brashear, who could beat the living crap out of anybody whenever he felt like it, but also had some offensive ability with the 18 goals and 29 assists and 47 points during his career from 02-03 to 05-06 season while here. And then Pronger, of course, got the big deal that he had the freak injury that nobody could have predicted. It was not a good contract, don't get me wrong, to pay a guy for, I think, I believe it was 7 years at that age.
Yep.
But he did get a freak injury, so his stats are obviously heavily skewed downward. But in the time he played, he still had 15 goals to 77 assists and 92 points, and that was only from 09-10 through the 11 and 12 season. So he was still pretty ridiculous during the time frame he played.
Also captain.
Yeah, also the captain, yeah. But I'll let Steele go with this one first. What do you think of those two guys?
Oh, based off of the time that they're here in Philadelphia, I have to go with Pronger all the way. Just because look, don't get me wrong, man, because I love Donald Brashear and I loved his game. And he played during a time when we needed that guy out there just to be standing there. Like if you look up and down the history of the Flyers rosters, you'll see a guy just like that. It started with Schultz, okay? Then we got some of the other guys like McLeish and Prop. Then you started getting those the guys in the 80s. Then you started getting guys in the 90s like Brashear. And then you got the Wayne train. I mean, seriously, that dude can throw down. Donald Brashear, and he had some great offensive upside. So, but Pronger, I'll tell you what. I was watching that game when he got hit with the puck. And now I have never in my life heard a human being yell that loud at a hockey arena that you could hear. And that whole arena went silent when he got hit. And I've never heard that before in my life. And that really changed a lot of things about hockey that day. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to go with Pronger on this, man. Just for heart, just for standing in there, and just for trying to come back after getting hit like that.
Yeah. No, yeah, his injury really did change the game because that's when the one they really looked to start implementing having to have to wear the visor compared to having it be optional. Where Pronger, of course, just had the helmet on and didn't have the shield. That's one of the main injuries they looked to, similar to how baseball got rid of trucking the catcher because they mainly looked to Buster Posey, who was a star of the game that had something happen to him. But
did he get hit too? Something similar like that or whatever?
He got trucked and he got destroyed and he was out for because it was a star player. The league actually took action on the rule.
Oh, wow.
Like Jesus Flores and others that have got injured in the past. But I was going to say, Andrew, I'm 95% sure, even though Donald Brashear was a legend. You've loved watching highlights of him beating the crap out of people and scoring, but Pronger's that's just an all-time legend, not just a Flyers legend. So I think you're going to go with him too, correct?
Yeah, you got to go Pronger here. Just because, again, I mean, his ability, not only on the defensive end, but to transition that into his offensive game as well, I think was just a tremendous and a true two-way player that you don't see too often.
Great point.
Yep, I agree. And then Steele brought up a good point about Wayne Train when he was talking about players like Donald Brashear. Wayne Simmons is, of course, we need some size and toughness in our bottom six still. Anybody opposed to bringing him back for 1 year on a good salary deal, or would people not be okay with that in this podcast?
I like Simmons, but I just feel like he's too much. His game in general is just too much like JVR. So I don't think you can kind of keep both of them. I just feel like they both accelerate on the power play. So I feel like they kind of clog each other's game, and I feel like that's kind of one of the reasons why they got rid of Simmons is because they were looking to bring JVR in. I just feel like, again, they're two style of games that be on around the same line and everything. So I feel like if you can find a way to make it work, and one of the guys is willing to play on one of the lines, one of the more lower level lines, and maybe if they're agreeing to that, sure, I'll welcome his talent back. But I just feel like you already got that kind of guy. So maybe if, depending on where else we could spend money, go that direction somewhere else.
also have a better coaching staff to make it work, obviously, than Dave Haxtell's.
Well, that's not that hard to do.
Yeah, no.
No, but you know what though? I have to agree. I wouldn't want to bring him back in because JVR is what, 2 years younger. He's also 5 or what is he, 5.6 or something on the cap for the next 2-3 years. And I like JVR's offensive upside better.
Yeah.
And I would much rather spend money on somebody like Braun or Niskanen, or I'd much rather spend the money on that than bringing in Wayne Simmons.
No, I actually agree with you guys. I was just trying to get the realm of what people felt about it because he is a free agent, and I was just wondering if you all thought that would be a decent idea to bring him in. But JVR is a $7 million cap hit each year.
7, okay. I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember. So
yeah.
So and Wayne Simmons is not going to want piddly money.
No, that's a good point. I was just trying to get the feeling in the waters on what people felt on a former guy coming back. But now we'll go to our easy one and leave one that's at least a little bit closer for last. We got Justin Williams, one of the guys that the Flyers got rid of way too quickly, just like Patrick Sharp and a couple others that I can go down for the next 10 years, but we don't have the time to do that. So,
and you're preaching to the choir here, buddy, let me tell you.
Yeah. So we have 37 goals out of Justin, 52 assists, and 89 points in only a span of 0 to 01 through 02 to 03 season. But of course, Rod Brindamore was one of the, during that time, the foundation pieces of this franchise with 363 assists, 230 goals. And I wrote this really sloppy for him, but I think I wrote 593 points. So he was just ridiculous for the Flyers. Now is a ridiculous coach, getting the best out of his guys too. I'll throw him a bone in there on that too because I just love Brindamore, and he's a guy that I would definitely have to take here, being one of the foundation, one of the leaders of the team while he was here during that stretch in the 90s. And he wasn't obviously the best on the defensive end, but he was a guy that was always going to put the puck in the net for you, get the puck to his line mates. And like Andrew said about a couple people, and he said about Gags especially, he made everyone around him better. So I definitely have to go with Rob Brindamore here. And Andrew, I haven't let you start for a while, so I'll let you start with this one.
Yeah, I'd say nothing against Williams in his career because obviously he ended up being a very good player. I just feel like he got off in his career-wise. He got off to too slow of a start here. And like you said, the Flyers got rid of him too fast. I think that kind of shows the start to the career he kind of had here was not good enough to maintain a roster spot. So I think that's one of the things that goes without saying on why I'm going to take Brindamore as well, just because, again, his ability here with Philadelphia to elevate the game. I know it wasn't with the Flyers, but eventually hoist the cup. So just another tremendous thing for him and an accolade in his career. So I think you got to go with Rod here, just because again, the situation he was able to elevate the team, and when he got here, he was able to get off to a faster start as a whole.
No, that's a perfect point. That makes. I mean, I don't think Steele, you're going to pick against Rod Brindamore here, are you?
No, I'm probably not going to go against that one. Look, Justin Williams was another one of those kids that came up and he started his rookie year. I think he was 1 or 2 years after Simone Gagne and came in and played a couple years, and then he just couldn't stick around. And he was one of those perfect examples of the Flyers picking up a really great kid, good talent, but not having enough patience and sticking with the kid, and then the kid goes somewhere else and then gets his name on the cup. So then you look at Rod Brindamore, and what is it, 7 of his 9 years that he was in Philadelphia, he played all 82 games. Man. All right.
I have to point out I misspoke on Brindamore too. I read my note for freaking what's his name. I read my note based off of Provy having bad defensive years in 2 of his years, where Brindamore obviously was a good defensive player. He won the Selke twice, and I read the wrong. piece off of him. He was not a bad defensive player. I just read a note to the wrong person.
That's
It
okay, man.
happens. It happens.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah, no, you can't go against Rod Brindamore on this. The hardest working guy on the team, and he's the hardest working coach because he's in the weight room and he's working there before anybody else shows up. So, yeah, I like him as a coach. I always thought he would be a coach after he played. He just seems like he's one of those guys. He's very driven. He's very, I mean, you can't not love Rod Brindamore.
Yeah, Brindamore, you have enough injuries. He's probably still in shape enough to just lace him up one day.
He probably does.
I'm gonna be a player coach and just go out
Yeah.
there.
What is he? 52 now or something like that?
Yeah, but Jordan said he wanted to come back at 50. So
Well. Oh no! Wow, gosh, oh my gosh, man, he's my age. Woo. He's 50. He's 50, and he looks like he could lace him up right now and play. Well, how old was Gordie Howe?
He played
how old was
50, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Pretty sure 50.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a couple guys played into their late 40s.
When he came back.
Yeah, and I think. I can't think of his name. Dino Cicerelli. He played till he was old. There was a couple other guys that played until their 40s. So yeah, man, got to give it up to that guy.
Yeah, Recchi played into his 40s as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mark Recchi.
Yeah.
Hey, Gordie Howe played 80 games when he was 51 years old.
Yeah. What year was that?
That was 1979, 1980 season.
Yeah, man, that was back when they were still weren't even wearing helmets then.
Oh, yeah, they were. That's the most impressive thing. You would think a 51-year-old could probably do that better in today's game than back then because you're not having that brutality of the game as it was back then with no pads like you have today either. Like, that's what was so remarkable about that in that day and age, that he played that many games at the freaking age.
26 total years in the NHL and then 6 years in the WHA. So 32 total years in professional hockey.
Oh, my gosh, man. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Gordie.
The game is, but see, when they played without helmets, there was that unspoken rule where guys weren't head hunting. And you didn't see guys putting sticks up and high checking guys like you did back in the 90s and the early 2000s where they were coming to take your head off. Well, you didn't see that back then because that was kind of the unspoken rule because guys didn't wear helmets. I mean, even goalies didn't even wear helmets until, the late 70s? Okay. I would never be a goalie and not wear some kind of, can I get a crash helmet or something?
Or like a motorcycle helmet at least.
Or something?
Headbutt it. Like, it's like, oh, this is coming at my face. Let me try to headbutt this at least. But now I think for our last, but I completely agree with you on goalies. You had guys that just played without helmets. I mean, I remember reading an article. It was a while back, but it was talking about. I'm trying to remember his name now. Plante. Jacques Plante, one of the best goalies of all time. How he always had his face ripped up because of different injuries and stuff because he had to play through it. And same with like guys like Bauer and especially Terry Salchuk, who looked like a zombie at times because of getting pucks ripped at him. So yeah, I don't know how he dealt with all that, especially Salchuk. I mean, he looked like a person by the end of his career. But now we'll move on to our final match of the night, which is between our 6 and 11 seeds of Tony Amate, another guy who came later in his career to the Flyers and had 27 goals, 41 assists, and 68 points, to Travis Sanheim, who, of course, is budding into a great defenseman for us still as we speak, has 19 goals and 51 assists during his short time here for a total of 70 points so far. So this is a interesting matchup, and I'll let this see where you guys go first. So, Steele, where do you have in this?
Ah, man. This was during the Bobby Clark era, and people are going to hate me for saying this, but I love Bobby Clark as a player, and he was one of the foundations of the Philadelphia Flyers, but he was not the best GM as far as I'm concerned. And this was one of those deals where he brought in Tony Amonte thinking that he would be that one guy to get us over the hump, and he, bet the farm, traded off all the picks and prospects and everything to bring in Tony Amani. And now he at least did play 80 games for us the following year after we got him for the trade or whatever. But yeah, I got to take Sanheim all day with my eyes closed and one leg.
Yeah, I would agree. Amate was another example of a guy that Flyers sometimes bring on their team late in their careers via signing or trades. Obviously,
Yeah.
Vince Cavalier is one of the more recent examples of that.
But at least LeCavalier tried to play for us. He didn't do too well in Laviolette's system, and that was where the problem was. I loved LeCavalier. I thought he had a great game. He had some great offensive upside. He just wasn't used very well.
No, that's a
I
solid.
agree with that.
Because then when he went to the Kings, he ended up putting up pretty decent stats in his stretch run to help them in their run in the postseason that year. Not going far that year, but he still helped them that year. But I'm assuming, Andrew, you're also going to go with Travis Sanheim here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think even in his 3 young years here, I think his potential is insane. I think he can be a really good player as he continues to develop. I think if you look at numbers, they're pretty close with Tony's here in both kind of short years with the franchise so far. Tony only had 2 throughout his entire career, and then obviously Travis has had 3 these past 3 seasons. But even with how close their stats are, I think Travis just gives the Flyers the extra edge and his ability in these last 3. And then again, his full-on potential and what I think he can amount to is incredible. So I'm really looking forward to how he develops through his career. So I'm going to pick Travis here and be a little biased as well.
How many goals does Travis have for us? Because he hasn't played like a full season, but he's been called up a couple of times. How many goals does he have for us?
Total 19.
19. So he even has more goal. Oh no, wait. No, I think Tony Amani has how many for us?
Tony had 27 in 2 years.
27. Okay, so not that far off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he destroys Amante though on the assist total by like over 10
Yeah.
because he has. Well, it doesn't destroy him, but he has 50 something where Amante has low 40, so he beats him by like 10.
41. Amani has 41.
Okay,
assists.
so by exactly 10.
Yeah, so there you go. Still though, I'll take that. If he's doing assists, that means he's making plays. I'm all for that. If you're making plays, that's assist, man. I don't care if it's first assist or second assist. That means you're making plays.
Yeah, and in AV system, he's starting to show his best ability on the puck as well. So having AV and Yo and everybody come in and really help everybody, Terrian, et cetera, keeping Lappy was the smartest move too because he has the familiarity. Our whole coaching staff has just done a great job with all these guys as well. But
two Stanley Cups on the coaching staff between Terrian and Yo for the Penguins.
Yeah.
So they kind of know how to do it. So I love what they've done with our team. I have just been so blown away by what AV has come in and done. Because I watched that whole behind the glass series that they did.
That was amazing.
It was. Oh my gosh, it was so awesome to be able to get to see what the coach is saying to the players. And look, let's face it, when he came out and said be an effing Flyer, we have become that. That's what we have become this year.
Hey, you can just tell the players have bought into him too. I mean, a lot of the stars on this team, and Giroux, Voracek, etc. They played with they were here for the coaching change, and you can see, like, just even in this short year, you can see how they're willing to go that extra step for this coach rather than the previous one in Dave. So I think again, just the players' effort, the way they've kind of come around this whole coaching staff as well, just carries it to extra level.
Yeah, AV also, of course, he got a big vote of confidence from the team with getting a five. A lot of guys don't get a 5-year deal when you're just bringing them in, but that was something I really liked them instilling that confidence in him from the jump start. And he's a guy that you can tell learned from his past experience too, because when he was in his younger years, he's got accused of overplaying veterans that were kind of losing their pizzazz a little bit, so to speak, to putting in the younger guys, where now obviously you see that's not the case at all. And he was starting to obviously see that lifting when he was coaching the Rangers as well. That was more back with his Canucks days. So he adapts very well over time, which obviously is one of the best signs and traits of a great coach, being able to adapt and learn and move to the quirks and traits of the league as it adjusts over time.
If you look at the history of AV, every year he goes to a team to be their coach for the first year, that team makes it to the playoffs, or they have the most significant improvement in that first year. And it's because of his system that he's doing or the message that he's sending out. That that's just hard to see in any coach. I mean, that's like Scotty Bowman kind of, you know. That guy could just coach the worst team and the next year they would be winning the Stanley Cup. You know what I mean?
Torch can't, yeah,
Yeah.
Torch can't coach him to the Stanley Cup, but Tortorella is also pretty damn impressive with how the hell he got that to where they got.
Yeah.
But and then I know Jamie's a big Tortorella guy, so I figure he'll probably listen and enjoy that.
Oh, is he? I didn't
Yeah,
know, I didn't know he was.
I think he because he talked.
Perlo's a big Tortorella guy too.
Yeah, he talked about how much he thought he could have won. He's up there for the Jack Adams in our one podcast, so I figured he might be big on him. But as we're wrapping up the bracket, I don't know if Steele or Andrew, you guys had any closing points, and we of course want to say to Steele, it was a pleasure of having you on the podcast, and you're welcome to come on any other time you want, especially for these fun bracket shows, because it was really fun doing this with three people, adding an extra dimension to it.
I can't tell you how honored I am to be here. I can't tell you how great it is to do this. This was really fun. It took a little bit of time for us to get this all put together, but it was worth the wait. And you can reach me at Steel Flyers on Twitter. And stay tuned for steelflyers.com coming soon. And stay tuned for podcast coming soon.
And then Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us today, Steele. It was a pleasure having you on, and I thought this was an awesome episode getting this done. And like Joe said, other time you want to come back on, just give us a heads up, and we'll find a way to make it work. Because again, it was great.
Thank you very much.
No problem. And go ahead.
No, you got it. You're finished.
I was gonna say, and then you can find me at AJ_Santangelo. I write for Pub Sports Radio and do a baseball show Tuesday nights at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. And then, as Joe mentioned earlier, we have another one with Chasing the Pennant podcast, which is also a lot of fun, diving into a bunch of different Phillies stuff. And then I do one with my brothers as well, which is at Philly Sports Now.
Yeah, and then for me, I'm at JJBorick26 on Twitter. Our podcast is True_Philly Sport, and we're also on Instagram now with the same title. And we're going to be putting some shorter videos up there every so often just to have an extra leg of something as well. So check that out. And I'm in the process of creating a WordPress for us as well. That will probably be out in a couple weeks because I don't want it to look stupid. I want it to actually look pretty decent when it comes out and not just like a thrown together website. So that'll probably be a couple weeks out still. But I'm going to create a Facebook page soon. And also, just like with Andrew, I also write for the Pub Sports Radio. A lot of times on hockey stuff, I've sent in some NFL stuff. So that's mainly been my two things. right now. So that's really fun. And then chasing the pennant, as you said, and then Flyers nitty gritty with Jamie Bascal, and Steele knows him, and he's a great guy. Check out
Yeah, man.
our stuff there all day, every day. I mean,
Hey, you guys' stuff is good stuff, man. I like reading your articles. You guys put out some really good stuff. You're a podcaster. I'm not a Major League Baseball fan by any stretch of the word, or a basketball fan, but it was really great listening to you guys. You had some really great information, and was able to push out some of that really good stuff that a lot of people are interested to listen to.
I appreciate that.
second day, yeah, we definitely appreciate that. And to wrap this one up, we want to say it looks like stuff's trending in the right direction. The NHL, of course, as I said in the last podcast, moved from 6 to 12 with the training camps. The thing that looks the most shaky right now is the NBA with Orlando, but Adam Silver gave a vote of confidence the other day for NBA fans. So sports seem to be moving in the right direction for us here. And I just want to wish everybody stay safe, stay well, and then stay positive, and also stay healthy and still be smart out there, because even though it's been a while and we're able to open some stuff, that doesn't mean the virus is gone. So still be vigilant out there and do what you got to do, and stay safe and well, everybody. Peace out. This has been True Philadelphian Sportscast, the grittiest take. For Steel Flyers, for Andrew, I'm Joe Boric. Have a wonderful day, everybody.